Afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our latest virtual assembly. And this assembly is a little bit different to our normal ones because this is focusing on some of the changes that are going to be taking place at King Henry School after the May half term. And it's been informed by what we were calling our big conversation survey of students, of parents, and of staff. And a big thank you to everyone who took part in the big conversation survey, because we had over 200 students, for half of our staff, so over 600 of the people connected to our community who responded to the survey and whose views have helped to shape what our next steps are as a school. So we've been talking recently about our recovery plan from COVID-19. And really, we've broken it into three bits: reconnecting, re-establishing, and restoring. Reconnecting is what we've been doing since lockdown finished in March. It's been about easing all of you back into school life, getting you used to getting up in the morning, reconnecting in terms of looking out for your mental health and your well-being and your safeguarding. And we've been doing that since March. But we now want to move into the second stage, which is re-establishing. And we want to spend the 6 weeks between May half term and the summer holidays re-establishing some of these structures and expectations of school life that perhaps have been lost a little bit in all of our COVID-19 measures. We want to try and get the school back at least a bit to a sense of normality, and hopefully we'll be able to start in September in a much more normal school year, depending on the national situation with COVID. And that's why the September onwards planning is what we're calling restoring. It's our long-term plan to build back better from COVID-19. But where we are at the moment is that middle one, that re-establishing one. And I want to take about 10 minutes today just to talk to you about some of the changes that we're going to make after the May half term as we try and get the school back a little bit more to normal. So to start off with, the first change is that all year groups will begin at 8:45 a.m. with tutor time. Because of COVID, we've had different start times for different year groups or key stages throughout the year. But with year 11 gone and with year 13 gone, we now want everyone to start at the same time, so that we have tutor time regardless of whether we're year 10, year 12, year 7 or year 8 at 8:45. In that time, we'll be doing our registers. We'll do them right here, right now in the morning, as it was always intended to be. We'll be doing a uniform check with a particular focus on King Henry ties and King Henry School PE check. Why are we doing this? And that we can make sure that our form tutors are helping us to be ready, respectful and safe before the start of lessons. The second change is the new late procedure. Because the whole school is starting at 8:45, anyone who arrives after this time will be late, and there'll be an email that is sent home as you sign in on the late register. And late detention will run each day during morning break in the main hall for 10 minutes, 10:40 to 10:50. It'd be a waste of your time. So don't be late. The gate will close at 8:45. You need to be in that gate and in the building in your form rooms by 8:45. Failure to attend a late detention at break time, which is for 10 minutes, would result in an after school detention of an hour if students didn't go to the break time one. So again, wasted time. Don't be late. Don't waste your time after school. Get to school on time. Why are we doing this? We don't want you to miss out on the start of the day. If you're turning up late, you're going to be disorganized. You're not going to be ready. You might not have the right equipment. You might not be in the right frame of mind. And then getting into your lessons is going to be quite challenging. So we want you to be ready. We want to take those 15 minutes, almost like a warm up in a football match, to get ready for the day ahead. That's why it's important. And it's important that everyone starts at the same time so that it's fair. The third change that I've already referenced in that sort of daily late detention at break time is that morning break will return. It will be common to all students. So it'll be the same time for all students in the school at 10:40 to 11 o'clock. The canteen will be open during that time. But because the morning break is coming back in, It means that we're breaking up the day. At the moment, I know it's really challenging to have period 1, period 2 and period 3 without any break at all. And because of that, lots of students understandably are asking to go to the toilet during lessons. After half term, because we've got the morning break back, you can go to the toilet before school, at break time, at lunchtime, after school, with more opportunities and less condensed time with lessons. There will be no toilet allowances during lessons unless you have a medical reason for which you need a head of house issued toilet pass. Why are we doing the morning break? Well, it was a really popular suggestion in the survey amongst students, staff and families. It breaks up that morning so that we don't have those 3 lessons back to back. It also means that period 3 and 4, which for many students is often a double period, will no longer be separated by lunch or 21C. At the moment, you might have a lesson period 3, you then break for an hour, then you've got to try and get back into the same lesson sometimes, and that's quite difficult to pick up that lesson again. So the school day will run with form time for everyone at 8:45, period 1, period 2, break time for everyone, period 3, period 4, lunchtime for years 7 and 8, 21C for 9 and 10, and then lunch for years 9 and 10, and 21C for 7 and 8, and then period 5, and for those in years 10 and 12, period 6. I mentioned there, the fourth change then is that year 9 will join year 10 on second lunch after the May half term. Why? Well, with year 11 and 13 having left, year 9 can join year 10, reducing congestion and lunch queues. So rather than 7s, 8s and 9s all being at lunch together, it will just be 2 year groups at a time from lower school, with year 12 joining also in that second lunch. The fifth one is around internal truancy. A situation that's got much better recently, but there are still a small number of students who aren't getting to lessons on time or aren't going to where they need to be. The most important thing as a school is for us to make sure you're safe, for us to look after you, for us to make sure we know where you are. If there's a fire alarm and we don't know where someone is, it could risk someone's life because we would have to search buildings for someone who wasn't in their class when they were meant to be. So after half term, we're going to make it really clear and really consistent for everyone. If you're more than 5 minutes late, or if you're out class without permission, i.e. a note from your teacher and a planner, then you will be marked as being truant on our registers. That will generate a phone call home immediately to parents, and it will set a next day detention after school. So if you're not in your lessons, if you're truanting from a lesson, then you'd have a next day detention after school and your families would be contacted on that same day. If you were truanting twice in one day, you'd be in the pastoral centre, and failure to attend the pastoral centre would mean that parents have to come into school. Now, this won't be the case for very many people at all. We want to make sure that everyone feels confident and happy being in their lessons all the time. We care about those relationships and we want you to do well. We know that being out of class is a really toxic habit. It's a really harmful habit. If you're out of class, you fall behind with your learning. It makes it even harder to get into class. If you're out of class, you fall behind your friendship groups. If you're out of class, you won't have the relationships with your teachers that you can only have when you spend time with them. All of those things are really important, but above all, we need to keep you safe. So everyone in our school needs to be where they're meant to be when they're meant to be there. So that's a big, important one for after May half term. Another significant one, and again, it's because of how much we care about you guys, is mobile phones and headphones and earpods. These things have been really prevalent in the school since March lockdown, and we know that during lockdown, when we were all inside our homes, when we couldn't see people, that our mobile phones were a source of real comfort. It helped us to stay in touch with people, to keep in touch with the outside world. But there's emerging evidence that young people particularly have become quite obsessive and addicted to their mobile phones. And actually, in a school situation, that means we're having more concerns about mental health, more concerns about anxiety, more concerns about online bullying and social media, all of these harmful things that distract us from what we are doing as a school primarily, which is to help you learn. And therefore, alongside Townley Grammar School, we're going to have a digital detox after the May half term. We're going to see how it goes for the 6 weeks. But it does mean that after May half term, mobile phones and headphones and earpods are all banned from our school site. If you need a mobile phone for your journey to or from school, that's fine. And in our student reception office, there is now a safe that students can, in the morning, drop their phones into, and it will be locked securely all day. It will be nice and safe, and you can collect it when you leave school in the afternoon. So if you need a phone on your way to or from school, you've got somewhere where you can leave it in school that's safe, that is literally by your entrance and exit. If you have a mobile phone in school, if it's seen or heard, then it will be confiscated after May half term. It won't be a, oh, please put it away, or a little gentle sign for you to make sure it's switched on silent. It won't just be a, oh, okay, you were just checking the time, that's fine. None of those excuses will be in place, because it's got to be a consistent rule to everyone. It's got to be fair to everyone. It's got to be equal. And therefore, if you have a phone or a headphone or an earpod that is visible in the corridors or in the buildings or on the school site, then it will be confiscated. And it will be taken to reception, and you will have to collect it at the end of the day. If that were to happen 3 times in the same half term, a parent or carer would have to come and collect it as well, because we'd be beginning to waste our time, and it's really important that actually it's something that there's a further consequence to it. So your families would have to come and collect it so that we could have a conversation about the fact that it's banned and it shouldn't be in school at all. Or an earpod or a headphone, then we would be removing someone from lessons until we sort it out, and we'd be asking families to attend the school site immediately. Using our pastoral centre as well. We don't want it to be like that. We want you guys to be in your lessons doing really well, but above that, we really want you to be connecting with each other face to face and being liberated from the pressure of having your phone pinging or every 2 minutes, or making noises or distracting from your learning. So mobile phones, earpods gone out of school after May half term as a trial as we do this digital detox. And once again, it's not because we're trying to make anyone's life hard. It's not because we don't understand the importance of mobile phones in modern day life, but it is because of those recent studies that show that addictive smartphone use is more likely to count towards depression and contribute and cause depression, anxiety, stress, or poor sleep, and poor education outcomes. Your grades can be affected if you're distracted constantly by a mobile device. So we're not going to have them in the school after the May half term. We're also, and we're really excited about this, going to relaunch Extracurricular. And so initially after the May half term, 31 clubs will be starting up again. And these will be available for parents and carers to book on our King Henry Arbour app on Friday, or from Friday at 3 p.m. And I've written to parents today with all of the details of these changes, including how to sign up for extracurricular clubs. We'll also have, for Key Stage 3 students who will continue to leave after period 5, some period 6 support sessions for targeted students who need some extra support to catch up because of lockdown and the impact of lockdown on your progress. And again, why are we doing this? Well, school is about more than your timetabled lessons. It's about providing you with as many opportunities to enjoy different hobbies, but also to experience success. And it's those clubs that can be really powerful and motivating you in school. It's those clubs that can give you a sense of achievement. It's those clubs that can introduce you to new people and forge new friendships. Some of the clubs are on the slide now. So from extra GCSE revision to sports club like tennis club, to music clubs like keyboard club, to bushcraft and gardening, to electronics club, to drama. There's a whole array of different extracurricular that we haven't been able to run this year because of COVID, but that's coming back in after the May half term. So if there's any there that you look at and you think that would be really good, then ask your parents to sign you up on the Arbour app after Friday, or from 3 p.m. on Friday. That's when it opens for bookings to all students. It is first come, first served, and many of these have a limit of numbers as well. So we're really looking forward to re-establishing some of these routines and structures, making it feel more like a normal school again as we hopefully begin to move on from COVID-19. We do, though, need to continue to be really cautious about COVID-19. Whilst most people in the country are getting vaccinated, not everyone has been yet. And there are different variants of COVID that are causing concern around the country. So we'll continue to follow all of the health advice that we get as a school, but wherever possible, we want to try and get as many things back in place to make you feel like it's a normal school, a school that is more than just staggered starts and finishes and your lessons, but with extracurricular and some of those key expectations and standards and routines that help us all to learn really well. So we're looking forward to that after the May half term. As we do go into the May half term, as always, just some reminders about safeguarding. Miss Browning, assistant head teacher, is our designated safeguarding lead, and Miss Browning leads safeguarding throughout our school. You'll know from the safeguarding drop-down day that we've also created a new email address for students, which is talk@kinghenry.org.uk. You can talk to any of your teachers your safety there for you as well, and it gets monitored throughout the school day, the working week, by our safeguard. I hope you have a brilliant May half term and a really good rest before we come back and end the year in a really positive way as we re-establish those key routines and structures in our extraordinary school. Have a great rest of the week. There'll be time to discuss some of the changes that I've talked about today in form time today and tomorrow, so that we're all set for our return. We return to school on Tuesday the 8th of June, and that's because the Monday after half term is an inset day. So you actually have a week and a day, because we come back on Tuesday at that new start time of 8:45 a.m. for all students. Don't be late. We look forward to seeing you then. Have a great rest of the week and have a really good, safe and enjoyable half term. Take care, everyone.